I such a great tailwind behind me that I had to pull the video camera out. Oh, so back to the UFO stuff. I have time before I get to the Bank Street Bridge. UFOs, their technology allows them to create a time bubble around their spacecraft. And they can manipulate this time bubble by accelerating time within it. By accelerating time, the UFO can move along at a leisurely pace, but to the outside observer would appear to move quite quickly. So when I saw my UFO moving at 9 times the speed of sound, that was from my time perspective, but not from the time perspective of the UFO. That could have been much, much slower. And this is what happens when aircraft get too close to UFOs, is that they are encountering this time bubble. And they're going from, say, a jet's moving at 600 miles per hour. They're going from 600 miles per hour to 60 miles per hour when they start to break through the time bubble. And so the avionics of the airplane cannot sustain the airplane in flight at 60 miles per hour. It's impossible. And so jet aircraft lose control when they begin to enter into this time bubble created by the UFO. Simultaneously, just the effect of moving into an accelerated time completely screws up the jet fighter avionics, and this has been reported over and over again when jet aircraft get too close to a UFO. So very, very interesting, and it answers all of the questions about UFOs with regards to I see a UFO moving at 9 times the speed of sound, and the UFO is not breaking the sound barrier. This is because the UFO, in its own time reference within the accelerated bubble, is not breaking the sound barrier. Say the UFO is moving at 100 miles per hour within its time bubble, and then its time is accelerated. I'll have to do a calculation, whatever it is, to get to 9 times the speed of sound. That's, from their perspective, they're moving at 100 miles an hour over the land, and if they were to see anyone on the land, they would appear to be moving in slow motion. From my perspective, observing the UFO, it is moving at 9 times the speed of sound, but it is not breaking the sound barrier. UFOs that have been observed to make 90-degree corners at the speed of sound, in reality, if the UFO is moving at a very slow rate of speed, makes a 90-degree corner, and moves off in another direction, they're not going to be affected at all. And so they perceive a very slow turn, whereas an observer observes the UFO doing a 90-degree corner at the speed of sound. UFOs that accelerate at rapid rates of speed from 0 to light speed, some people will say. What's happening here is that the UFO is moving gradually away from the person, but increasing the time bubble within their frame of reference. So the person observing the UFO really goes into extreme slow motion, and so they perceive an object moving rapidly away from them, when in fact it's not. It's their perception of time that's being changed in the event, and that's how it works.